Start off with e4, 1727 question mark. Means hasn't played too many games. My opponent has not played too many games yet. So the rating is still preliminary. We have a Russian game, or Petrov defense. Trying to remember how this goes. I think that's a mistake. Is that true? He's supposed to kick my knight first, then take the pawn. If the knight moves, there's this fatal check, discovered check winning the queen. That's why you're supposed to kick my knight away first before taking here. Gives you more options to deal with this. Such as queen there. If he had tried to just block with the queen before, I could just take the knight. But this works okay. No, this doesn't work at all. Now I had to give, you just lose a pawn here. It's not the end of the game, but you have to give a pawn back. With best play from black. Oh, he's going to play on, okay. Most people would resign there. But there's no law that says you have to resign. Let's see. I can kick that knight. Get a queen, pawn on d5. Feel like kicking it some more. Just wanted to be able to develop my knight here, attacking the pawn. Don't mind if I have a little trouble castling. I've got enough material. He is missing a queen after all. Maybe I should have just played the pawn up. Okay, what to do? He left this pawn undefended. He's going to maybe bring a rook over to harass my queen. It's not a problem. But I should develop. Really, that's what I should do. Instead of just grabbing more material, he offers a draw. I don't think so. What the heck are you thinking? Okay, let's go ahead and kick this bishop back. Get to trade it off one way or another. That will make things a little easier for me on the dark squares. I guess he was maybe hoping for some kind of pre-move. Let's attack his knight. Pinning it. He could take here with the bishop, that's check. But the knight is still pinned. Okay, so he decides to trade this way. I was thinking, just moving the king to the side would be a clever move, threatening to bring a bishop out and and skewer my queen and or pin my queen to the king. Okay, he stepped back. Let's bring a rook to the center. And he's moving that bishop all around. Let's see, queen here to threaten the c pawn. Well, that's a good way to end the game quickly. Okay, let's get another game here. Maybe we'll play a rapid game next. Payman. Okay, e4 again. Payman Azarifam. So plays the Scandinavian defense. Classical line here, taking back immediately with the queen. I like to put a pawn on d4 here. Can later put a bishop here harassing his queen. This is a bit rare. Normally they want to move the c pawn forward to give the queen a way back to the king here, or to c2 or c7 or d8. Anyway, he's attacking this pawn, but it's defended. Not a problem. Let's prepare to castle kingside. The pin is also not a problem. So he castles on that side. So if I push this pawn forward, he has two pieces attacking it, and it's a pin, so it's not really threatening to take anything. Let's just defend that pawn where it is then. You could have taken my knight and then grabbed this pawn, I suppose. Let's kick the bishop. And get castled. So it's probably still an even position. I mean, the Scandinavian is not that great for black, so white probably still has whatever opening advantage white started with. But he got castled, he got most of his pieces developed. He still has to develop this dark squared bishop somehow. And I have a pawn in the center, but because of the pin, he can pretty much play this when he wants to. It's a bit complicated if he plays that. Say knight takes. I mean, I am threatening to win the bishop after knight takes, so he could throw in bishop takes bishop. I could take back with the knight. Then he takes my knight, exploiting this pin. So it's not good. Maybe there's some other sequence that's better for me. Maybe he's tempting me to come here. But yeah, the knight's just not supported there because of the pin on the pawn. So I should move my queen out of the way. When I do that, however, This is a little bit under-defended, right? If I move the queen to the side, for example, it plays bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, and then just knight takes pawn, because I'm only defending it with the bishop at that point, and he's got rook and knight on it. Knight here is interesting. Knight here. If he takes my bishop, I take back. I am threatening a fork here. So he pauses. He pauses to defend. Instead of grabbing the pawn, he pauses to defend, and then I can bring the knight back. Let's try it. My bishop is defending the knight there, so even though his queen is looking at it. So he just drops the bishop back. Okay, so now, once again, I'm back to this problem. If I move the queen to the side, he can just take here. I don't see any easy way to... I could put my bishop here. Put my bishop here. He plays knight takes pawn. I play bishop takes bishop. He takes back. Then I have this fork again. And... let's see, his knight here can move with check, exposing an attack on my queen, but my queen can actually take the knight. And let's see, with this bishop out of the way, the knight could come back here to defend this pawn in some cases. Maybe an idea. Oh, also the pawn is no longer pinned with the bishop here. Yeah, let's see what he comes up with here. Interesting situation. He could just put the bishop back. And of course I could kick the bishop, but I don't know if that's so good. He puts the bishop here, I kick it, knight takes, bishop takes. Oh, the queen is on it. Yeah, knight takes, pawn takes, the bishop can't take. Bishop goes back, I take the bishop, and then I have the fork again. And I've won a piece. That's probably good enough. Okay, so he moves the knight. He's threatening to take something here. Let's take here. And get in that fork. That's okay, I think. I have to take because it was hitting my queen. I thought actually it was stronger for him to take my knight. But eventually, yeah, because that also hits my queen. Ah, he goes there. Okay, so let's save the bishop. He stops the fork, and he hits this pawn. Yeah, nice play. That's why he took the bishop. I kind of missed the point of that. He was undefending my knight over there. I noticed that the queen was hitting my knight, but I said, well, the bishop is defending it, so it's okay. So he traded off my bishop with tempo. That's why that was a stronger move than just taking my knight. So now he can take here with check. I'll move the king to the side, but I'll be threatening rook here and winning this pawn. That's my thought. So he didn't do that. So I can play the check immediately. Kind of like the idea of opening up this F-file for my rook. And then I could bring the queen to the F-file, defending this pawn. I guess he's going to win this pawn. So let's count the material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Momentarily a pawn up. But he can take this with check anytime. So that's why I was thinking queen F3 might be good to defend that. However, after queen F3, he takes here. I take back and he takes with a knight, and it's forking my queen and bishop. And I can't take there. I wanted to take here. But of course, this pawn is still pinned. If only I could move my queen with tempo, but I move my queen out here, for example. He takes here with check. Could move my knight, attacking his queen. Is that possible? No, because he takes here with check and takes the knight. That check is annoying. Okay, I'm just going to put my queen on a dark square here. Defend this pawn, unpin this pawn. When things open up, my queen will be defending the bishop, might be useful. Yeah, taking here attacks this pawn. That's annoying. I guess the bishop will come back. I mean, because it's a fork. Knight there will fork the bishop and the pawn, so the bishop has to come back. Then he can trade his knight for the bishop, and it'll be all even pawn-wise, 3 on 2. Yeah, there it is. I have some other move. I mean, the bishop is defended. It's not hanging, but he can pin it now. Maybe that's what he was thinking about. Maybe he's wondering if the pin was any good there. But I would push the pawn defending my bishop, so it would probably be okay. So we just grabbed. Yeah, I don't want to give up another pawn. So So we've got opposite colored bishops, but if he takes my bishop off, then it'll be knight versus bishop. And he will have the dark squared bishop, which will finally develop. It's been undeveloped all this time, but it'll develop with pretty good effect. The dark squares are open. Yeah, so he developed there first. Okay. Let's get my rook out. Knight here check is very interesting. The fork taking advantage of the pin, but at the moment I've got it covered with a rook. Well, at least he's a player who likes to think. I mean, it's good. It's a good thing to do when you've got the time. So he wants to chase my queen away. Can I just take his rook? I mean, take the knight. Okay, if I go here, it's he might just trade queens. What does that leave me with? I don't have too many squares, right? I don't want to put a, I don't want to self-pin, put a knight here, although it's possible. Yeah, it seems like that'll be a liability in the long run. So I can't go up and down. I can't come out on this diagonal too easily. Well, I could come here, but I don't want to put my queen on a line on the same diagonal as my king when he's got this bishop here. Here and here are covered. So that leaves this square. And it does offer a queen trade. Still attacks his knight. So if he trades, I take back with the rook. Does that leave me with any vulnerabilities? I don't see a problem with that. Still keeping this rook guarding the forking square here. Still trying to take his knight. Get rid of that threat. Getting rid of the queen gets rid of the threat too. Maybe he's just looking for putting the queen here, threatening mate. Does it threaten mate though? That's the question. I mean, it's a battery with the queen and rook. Queen and bishop. So he gets a check and my king has to run here. He gets a check here. That looks pretty much like mate, doesn't it? So what am I going to do after he puts the queen there? That's going to be a problem. After he puts the queen here, what do I play? Could sacrifice a pawn by playing g3. But after g3, he's got knight to f3. Oh, bad, bad, bad. Yeah, it's the trouble with opposite bishops of opposite color. I don't have many defenses along the dark squares, and I haven't activated my light squared bishop yet. Yeah, so he goes there, threatening the mate. Yeah, it's probably good. And also, it stopped me from playing g3, which was not a very good defense, but it was a try. Let's take the knight. I think the rook was a stronger move, but he can play there. The problem is that no matter what I do, he's still got rook here. Yeah, there it is. Well, we'll let him finish it. Yeah, that's mate. You know, it just occurred to me, maybe I had another choice there. Let's go back to the analysis board. Went there. How about if I move my king here? Still probably winning, but yeah, I just didn't see this move. Did not see it. I guess I was discouraged by the attack. Well, he played a good game. What can I say? Let's play a blitz game. Skinnif. Skinnif 1, 2, 3, 3, Wee. Okay, we'll get a Ruy Lopez. Plays the Berlin defense. I'll just defend the pawn. And he plays the other line. Okay, let's play c3 here so the bishop can come back if he decides to kick it in one go. And then this pin is actually not a problem in this particular line because the center is very solid now. This pin is only a problem when the knight is needed to support a pawn on d4. So that's why they don't worry about that pin. And I can still bring the knight over and unpin. So we may think just because he got castled that he's okay, but it's not the case. The Spanish has just begun. Just starting to kick. I could go here. This is actually a good diagonal for the bishop. I don't have to run all the way back to c2, and then it may provoke him to play knight a5. Or it may provoke him to sacrifice a pawn. Okay. Oh, it's not a sacrifice, I see. Okay, so let's continue with the knight here. That, I see, he didn't want me taking this pawn, maybe. That's unusual that he gives up that bishop. Now this knight is hanging. His pawn is defended, but his knight is hanging. He has no convenient way to defend it. He can play knight here, but I can just take it off. So he's going to give me another piece. Well, I guess this is the first piece he's giving me, but I meant he's offering to trade a bishop for a knight again. But I should just go ahead and take here. Okay, he gave up. Well, that was 3 games. I guess we will call that a session. He won in Blitz and lost in the Rapid. But that's the way it goes sometimes. See you all next time. Bye.